The so-called greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane, accumulates on the upper strata of atmosphere and cause global warming. And these gases can remain in the atmosphere for very different periods of time, from months to millennia, and affect climate for different periods of time at different time scales. Um, in practice, the problem is rather complicated because these three gases are released in different amounts, in different proportions, have different warming potential, and can remain in atmosphere at very different periods of time. So there is a combination of factors that should be taken into account to evaluate or to assess the impact of these gases on global warming. For example, CO2, carbon dioxide, is the less powerful gas of the three, but are released to the atmosphere in big amounts. An enormous amount of CO2 are released annually to the atmosphere. So in quantitative terms, this gas, CO2, is the most important one. However, in relation to the power warming potential, the warming potential of these gases, they differ greatly. For example, methane is around 20 times more powerful than CO2 to warm the environment, and nitrous oxide 300 more powerful than CO2 in its warming capacity. So there is a combination of factors that should be taken into account. The other important thing that we have to take into account is the residence time of these gases in atmosphere. For example, CO2 can persist in atmosphere for millennia. It has a long-lasting persistence in atmosphere. On the other hand, nitrous oxide can persist in atmosphere for more or less 100 years. But methane, which is the most important gas released by ruminants, can persist in atmosphere for just one decade or 10 to 12 years. So it's the methane has the shortest periods of time in atmosphere persistence. So the combination of these factors are determining the warming, the global warming at the moment. Despite being a very potent greenhouse gas, we should provisionally accept that methane, which is emitted as a byproduct of digestive and metabolism of ruminants, should not be considered a major cause of global warming in the long term. In the short term, perhaps the impact is great, but in the long term, this impact is spread along a long time. The combination of these factors are the focus of controversy, discussion, debate, and scientific scrutiny. We have the problem is not easy to be explained and interpreted, and but we should to take into account that probably methane is not the most dangerous gas in terms of global warming.